Hi, a film I caught up with recently, um, which became one of my Sunday night movies to ease me back into the week, is the animated adventure Missing Link. It was quite highly acclaimed when it came out last year. Did not do well financially. I think it was about a quarter of its budget worldwide. But it was Oscar nominated for Best Animated Feature, and it won the Golden Globe in that category. So I maybe not that interested in seeing it, but I had a shortfall of films I wanted to see, so it turned up on Netflix. I watched it and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's set in Victorian times and it's about an English explorer played by Hugh Jackman who wants to be admitted to the Explorer Society. So he hatches a scheme to travel to the Pacific Northwest of the United States and find Bigfoot. And he immediately does. And it turns out Bigfoot is actually an intelligent, fairly cultured, socialized creature, um, uh, fully capable of speech, um, quite jovial and affable and friendly in his own way, not quite au fait with social mores. But he hatches a deal with the Explorer where he will travel back to London and the Explorer can present him and become part of the club. But in turn, the Explorer will then take him to the Himalayas so that he can be reunited with his long lost ancestors, the Yeti. So it becomes something of a travelogue of journeying across America and Europe and Asia with some absolutely gorgeous animation of mountains and deserts and forests and cities and jungle and more mountains covered in ice, and all done stop motion, and it looks amazing. There's a little sort of Easter egg hidden in the end credits where you see a time lapse set image of them filming one shot of the characters moving through the jungle, and it's sort of pulled back so you see, you know, how the set is being built as they do this one shot that lasts 10 seconds, and it's absolutely spectacular. It looks beautiful, but I particularly enjoyed the characters. There's a love interest subplot wherein the daughter of one of the explorer's former colleagues, voiced in the film by Zoe Saldana, um, is roped in to help, and there's a nice sort of will they won't they tension between the two of them, which I felt was sort of nicely dealt with and nicely balanced with Mr. Link, as he becomes known for the purposes of the journey, um, becoming something of a third wheel, but the comic relief in the same situation because of his ability to interact with society, but not really understanding what's going on, not really catching in on um, social cues and things like that. And the character of Mr. Link, I fell in love with. He's performed by Zach Galifianakis, and it's possibly his best performance. Mr. Link is this wonderfully sort of ungainly, awkward, but just tremendously kind and open-hearted creature, and the relationship between him and the explorer as they travel is really wonderful and beautifully written and performed. It's ultimately a film. I mean, it's a children's film, so the issues it's dealing with are not tremendously complex or adult in nature, but they're more about, you know, it is possible to choose your family based on people who accept you for what you are, based on people reject it rather than people rejecting you for what you're not. Um, and I thought that was a rather wonderful message to have in a children's film, and a little something a little different to what you might normally see.